Hi guys, this is Real Out of War and I'd like to show you a match I played the other day. I did a huge bunch of mistakes here, but it's a great match to learn something about defending in the micromanagement and also in macro management. So let's get into it. In this match I played the Portuguese against the Saracens down here in blue and red. And we're just hitting the game in fuel. We both went for a fuel rush and he's coming with 3 militia. That's the first of several attacks he ran on me, and I did quite some defending here, defensive work, and I wanted to share with you my tactics and love to hear what you think about it. As you can see, my first mistake was getting housed. So while my scout down here tried to keep away those militia for a second, I got my vills up here to get some houses. It was definitely a mistake to take so many vills, right? And I did other mistakes, which I want to share. This one was a good thing, just getting a stable up to protect those 3 lumberjacks over there. But here, I did a misclick or bad micro and got those 2 guys up the tree line, meaning they will die to the attacking units because they cannot run away. Or so I thought. I built 3 houses to support the defensive structures. I just hit them once or twice to already getting them blocking units. And you see I tried to wall here, but that didn't work. He realized what I was doing, but now I took my villagers and got them the militia, and this is a thing to remember if you didn't know already, that 3 or 4 villagers with loom can easily beat militia. So if you cannot do another thing, or if you don't have any units, just go on them. It will cost you some idle time, but they will survive and they can do it. So this was the first attack. Welcome to the game. It will go on just like that, because you can see that second attack is coming in, but now with archers. I, on my side, also got an attack in with scouts here, and he reacted properly on that. Classic, I would say, with building houses, because it just takes ages for the scouts to get these things down. But actually, he... have to go in slow-mo. He forgot that he had an open, or he overchopped here, and yeah, that cost him holding me away for a second. He went in with his archers on this house, which I didn't really understand. I think it was a micromanagement thing for him as well. It's just difficult to work with your troops up here and defend down there. And that's an important thing to remember. I think that if you can, you go for the base of the other guy, because it will cost him time to micro the defensive structures, and he will maybe just stop his attack. What I did here was kind of, I don't know, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Because what I did was I went with a few villagers on those archers because I had nothing else. What I could have done is, of course, pulling back my scouts and killing the archers. They were perfect counters for that. But I decided to do it this way. It cost me 1 will and a bit of idle time. But I got a tower, or I had time to build a tower. And I had my scouts down there to harass him and pull his attention, because as you can see, now his 4 archers are standing here doing nothing, and I think it was because I had my scouts here and he had to do something about it. So he let them just stand around, but he could have, gone up here and shoot them on them, or walk around, get those gold miners and lumbers over there. As you can see, I just managed to kill this villager here with my last scout. He managed to kill most of them. I didn't go for defensive technologies for my scouts because I didn't have the resources at that time, I think, and wanted to grow. But of course, if you do this, then your scouts are very squishy. And if the enemy reacts properly with good micro of the villagers, and pikemen. He will get you, finally. He, again, got even more archers in, so I was basically constantly under attack, as you can see, and I reacted by pulling back my gold miners. It was another mistake of mine that I went for this gold. It was just stupid, because up here would have been such even more gold, and it would have been much, much safer. So another mistake of mine. First, he got rid of my gold miners. I built an archery range to get skirms, and now it's kind of a critical point for me because he's bringing 2 pikemen, which can take down my light cav, which could counter the archers, or at least perform well against them. And now he's going for those 3 guys, and he will kill them. My idea now was, I mean, those guys were dead, it was obvious, but I thought, okay, maybe I can trap him. If he goes inside, I can build something here. And if I manage to do that, they will get stuck, and I can just shoot them down. So I tried that, which cost me another villager or 2. But I really wanted to do that because, I don't know, it felt pro-like, you know? I mean, this was so not pro what I did there, but I wanted to do it. And so what I did was, I thought, okay, if I want to get them back into the trap and he doesn't macro them, I will just send in my light cav, and then the archers will maybe move back because they need range to shoot, right? So I did this, and it actually worked. He pulled back. I had to kill this guy, I think. No, I didn't even have to do that. And so I sent them in. They would die, of course, but it made me bought me time to get this thing up, and now they're trapped, and now I can just shoot them to death. And this is amazing because skirms are perfect counters for archers, and they don't have room to get away, and they will all die. And I was very, very happy about this. Although I won this battle here and defended quite nicely, I think, apart from losing a lot of wills, I was in bad shape right now. So I was at 33 pop with 22 villagers, and he was at 39 pop with 29 villagers, which is a big lead in this point of time, or so I think. But I managed to defend against the second attack. I was a little bit proud about that. I had this tower up here, and had some skirms and felt okay-ish. But actually, nothing was okay, because he already went into castle and got his second TC up here, and he will get another one here, and now he can boom, whilst I was still in feudal age, having only 1 TC to get villagers up. And of course this is a crucial point now in the game, because he can double his villager output if he manages to get enough food, and of course he did. So I was behind. Speed this up a little, and now he's coming with his third attack, and this is why I think it's just a nice game, because it was many different units and several attacks. So he's coming with camels now, going again for my gold supply, and I don't understand why I still went for this gold whilst I had this gold up here. It just doesn't make any sense at all now that I see it, but there's so many things you have to do if you're playing this game. It was just too much for me, I suppose. So he's killing vills again. I'm ringing the bell and pumping out pikemen, of course. And I did this successfully. I placed them here and there. I think it makes sense to do that. Not, put your pikes all together at one place if you're not confronted with a huge amount of cavalry, but to place them tactically in bottleneck points, because your pikemen are slower than those camels or knights, and it will take them a lot of time to reach the point. But if you get 3 of them, it scares, it might scare away the enemy and hold him up until the others reach. the battlefield. Yeah, so I got those guys out, and of course they were perfect counters for the camels, but the price for that was that I couldn't reach castle, right? Because as you can see, my food, I have to spend my food on pikemen, and he basically delays me by just having camels around here, getting even more of them. And I want to mention that a good thing to do at this point of the game would have been actually to get a market and spend my 450 gold, which I had like on top of the 200 that which I needed for castle, to buy food and get to castle. Now I'm doing that, but I could have been there much earlier, and I should have been there much earlier, because as you can see, whilst I was being on my way to Castle Age, he had his 3 TCs up. Me, with a population of 50 in total, being 34 of that villagers, he had 75, and this is a massive lead. It's actually huge, and it's already foreshadowing the GG, I think. So he was running around with his camels, and probably decided to just wait and harass me a little, making me build more defensive structures until he could combine that with other units. I reached Castle Age. Of course, now I wanted to get my next TC to pump out more wills and smallen that eco boom gap. But as you can see, I don't have enough wood at this point to build a TC, or to build it immediately, because I built those defensive structures here against the camels, so that was also a delay for me. I had to wait a little till I could get this one up, which is what I'm doing now. But as you can see, he's getting a castle on top of the hill, putting pressure on my gold and also on my town center. Now, seeing that, it would have been better to just get rid of that TC here and build it more backwards, so that it doesn't have to soak up the arrows of the castle. But afterwards, you're more clever, right? So he's sending crossbowmen to my place, combining them with the camels, and I got pikemen and also my good old skirms up here. And actually, for trash units, they're performing amazing in this battle, because camels and crossbowmen both are gold incentive units, and I'm only paying wood and food for skirms and pikes, and I think they performed very well, which is of course because they are the perfect counters for those 2 units. Still, I'm losing villagers, and he's getting up his castle, and now I'm doing a kind of foolish, well, I mean, it's not kind of, it is foolish, building a castle here, and I didn't garrison those guys in a TC immediately. I should have done that earlier, which would have given me time to shoot those crossbowmen, which a TC is doing right now, right? So that was a good thing to garrison them. They sniped down the crossbowman, but it cost me all those guys up here, so that was bad micro. I got the castle, but obviously at this point of the game, I had 23 pop with 22 villagers, and he had 75 with 66, so that was just I lost it at this point, right? It's obvious. He is, of course, he's going Imperial now. Will be there in short time, and he will get his trebuchets, and then it will be over. So, what can I say about this game? Looking at it in the replay, I can say that I did a lot of mistakes. Of course, I managed to micro my defense and my defensive units, and I was able to react with the proper counters in a lot of situations. But overall, I did a bad job. And I think that's not a problem. I think it's good making mistakes, actually, because it's great to learn. But of course, I want to do better next time. And so I quickly try to get these pieces all together. So a good thing was that I did a kind of proper micro. The bad thing was that doing this macro I lost a lot of villagers, was actually bad and not good macro anymore, right? So if you do your defense and coordinate your defensive units, try not to lose villagers, try to pull them back, make sure they don't have a lot of idle time, and only use them as aggressive units when you don't have anything else to defend, right? Because seeing this game now, I realize that I basically lost villagers in each of the rushes and each of the attempts my opponent did to get me. The bigger mistake, in my opinion, was that I focused too much on micromanagement. As you can see now, it's GG, it's over. When he got the trebuchet, I realized that it was just GG now, right? And that's good. That's a good point to come to the big mistake, which wasn't the micromanagement, but was the, if you want, macro management, right? Because what I didn't do is I did not focus on my eco. I did not focus on growing it in the same speed as my opponent was able to, and I did not counterattack. And these two are the ones which I would call macro management whilst you're defending, meaning you try to grow your eco at another place where you cannot be attacked or where it's more difficult to be attacked, and you try to counterattack your enemy, trying to put pressure on him and making him in the best situation, or the best outcome, making him retreat, at least slowing down his attack. So as a learning for me, I would say that when it comes to defending, there's always two layers. There's the micromanagement, and you need to be good at it, because if you're not, you lose the game early. But there also has to be the macro management with counterattacks and eco growing, because if you don't do that or are bad at it, you will lose the game in the long run. Alright, that was it for today. I hope you learned something out of my mistakes, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Write it to me in the comments, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and see you next time. This was Real Art of War.